Good morning, dear members of the Education Commission and students. And of today's first graduate, Amuna Takımımızı da bitirme. And the theme of your dissertation qualification paper, the role of visual mapping techniques in English language vocabulary development. And your scientific advisor is PhD Associate Professor Hajaniyata Umidan Kumagambet. Good morning, Canada members and students. Our research work is called the role of visual mapping techniques in English language development. In this research, I study how to map help students learn English vocabulary more effectively and remember words for a long time. In this topic is important because vocabulary is the foundation of communication. Many students know grammar, but they cannot express their ideas because of limited vocabulary. Visual mapping makes learning more interesting, organized, and effective. The main aim of my research is to study visual mapping techniques is how to improve vocabulary learning. And the objectives are to explain vocabulary development, to describe visual mapping techniques, to analyze their advantages, and to provide recommendations for teachers and students. In this study, I used analysis of scientific literature, comparison of different methods of observations, and interpretation of the quality information. Vocabulary development means learn new words and understanding how to use them correctly. A rich vocabulary helps students speak, write, and communicate confidently. Knowing a word is not only knowing its meaning. Students should know pronunciation, spelling, grammar, synonyms, antonyms, and how to use the word in different situations. Visual mapping is technique that organize information using diagrams and images and connections. It helps students understand information easily, remember words longer, and make connection between ideas. Main types of visual mapping. The main types are mind maps, concept maps, semantic maps, word family maps, vocabulary maps. From association to active vocabulary, visual maps help students connect new words with previous knowledge. As a result, students remember vocabulary better and use it actively in speaking and writing. Teachers can use brainstorming, grammar work, vocabulary games, and basic exercises. These activities make a lesson more interesting and enjoyable. Choosing the right map. Different maps are used for different purposes. For example, mind maps are good for brainstorming, semantic maps show categories, concept maps explain relationships between ideas. Just vocabulary roles can be accessed through neural mapping in an effective method for vocabulary development. It improves understanding memory and communication skills. Thank you for your attention. Questions?
What do you understand by technique? Technique. What do you understand by technique? Technique, huh? Means what is it? Visual techniques. Yes? Eh? What is it?
What is it?
Ekran visual technique divided.
Introduction.
What's this one?
So, what is a collocation? You know what so collocation of? In the second chapter. What is prison work? Prison work. Prison work. Get preposition. It's called prison. Preposition and prison work.
Thank you. And I have one question. The topic is related for the visual mapping, yeah? The role of visual mapping. What can you say about the benefits of visual mapping? You know what does it mean, benefit? Visual mapping пайдаланып абзал тарапы қандай?
Students makes to learn vocabulary easily and effectively and remember words for a long time.
And of course, help organize before writing, yeah? And what else? Understanding, memory, yeah? Well, thank you. Thank you.
So our next graduate, Bazarbayeva graduate, Bazarbayeva Bunlar Bakhkızı, and the theme of her dissertation paper, Enhancing Pedagogical Discourse Analysis through Implementation of Project-Based Tasks. And her scientific advisor is PhD Associate Professor Janeza Umidakama.
Asıl olmak olacağını hangi türlü
Good morning, everyone. My name is Professor Raghunath. I would like to present the bachelor's thesis entitled Enhancing Pedagogical Discourse Analysis through the Implementation of Project-Based Tasks. I will briefly present the main points of our research. First, I would like to talk about the research framework and significance of the significance. This research is based on discourse analysis and project-based learning approaches. Different specific scientific methods were used, including descriptive analysis, comparative analysis, and discourse analysis. The theoretical significance is that the theoretical significance of the study is that it explains the relationship between the discourse analysis, pedagogical discourse, and the project-based learning. The practical significance is that findings can be applied in foreign language teaching and teacher training and classroom practice. The dissertation consists of an introduction to chapter and a conclusion and classroom and in references. Now, let me move to the introduction. Nowadays language education focuses on not only knowledge transmission but also on communication and interaction. Pedagogical discourse includes all communication that takes place in classroom, such as teachers' explanations, instructions, and feedback. Project-based tasks are especially important because they encourage active participation, collaboration, critical thinking, and learner autonomy. And next is aim of our work to analyze how project-based tasks are enhance pedagogical discourse analysis on foreign language education and determine effective ways of implementing such tasks in the classroom. Object of research: pedagogical discourse in foreign language education. Is Subject of research is implementation of project-based tasks for enhancing both pedagogical discourse. Next is perspectives of classroom applications. There are several perspectives in discourse analysis. First is structural perspective. Structural perspective studies forms and exchanges. The functional perspective examines the purpose of utterances, and next one is interactional perspective focuses on negotiation and participation. These perspectives help teachers analyze classroom communication from different angles. These slides presents the main features of pedagogical discourse. First of all, pedagogical discourse is all oriented because classroom communication is organized to achieve educational objectives. It also involves institutional roles where teachers and learners have different responsibilities and functions. Another important feature is interactivity. Since classroom communication develops through questions, responses, and feedback, all these All these features support effective language learning. Now I would like to explain the concept of pedagogical discourse. Classroom communication is much more than a background condition for learning because it directly influences teacher teaching and learning process. Through communication, teachers provides explanations, instructions, and feedback while learners respond, ask questions, and participate in discussions. In general, discourse refers to the language used in a practical social context for a specific purpose. In educational settings, pedagogical discourse can be defined as a system of spoken and written communication for teaching and learning. Discourse analysis in classroom communication. Discourse analysis studies how language function in classroom situations. And one important model is I error pattern initiation response feedback. In this pattern, the teacher initiates communication, learner responds, and the teacher provides feedback. Project-based tasks in language teaching. Project-based learning is a learner-centered approach. Students actively integrate questions, solve problems, and use language for real communication. Project work usually includes several stages. First one is planning, research, discussion, creation, presentation, and reflection. This approach integrates all language skills and promotes collaboration and autonomy and also critical thinking. This slide explains how project work supports the discourse analysis. So, students observe classroom communication, collect data, and analyze different discourse features. For example, they can analyze teacher questions, feedback strategies, and turn-taking patterns, and classroom interaction. For interaction, as a result, discourse analysis becomes a practical activity rather than only theoretical concept. The process of designing project-based tasks consists of several stages. First one is choose a clear discourse focus and select data source, prepare analysis tools. These stages make project work systematic and effective. Several students may analyze teacher questions in an English lesson, feedback strategies in speaking activities or work, or teacher content and group work discourse. Next one is this slide shows the project steps from planning and collecting data to the first final presentation and the reflection. Throughout these stages, students actively study and break down classroom communication. Communicative and analytical competence. Communicative competence means students use English for real tasks like planning, working together, and sharing their ideas. And next one is analytical competence. Help students look closely at classroom talk, how people speak, and support their ideas with their examples. Conclusion, to conclude, the pedagogical discourse plays a crucial role because learning takes place through communication. Thank you for listening.
Well, you talk about benefits of or advantages of project-based tasks, yes, using project-based tasks. What about disadvantages of project-based tasks? Do we or can we see in teaching and learning process disadvantages of project-based tasks?
Can I speak advantages of project-based?
First advantages and then disadvantages, please.
I would like to present advantages of project-based tasks. Project-based tasks are especially important because they encourage collaboration, critical thinking, and communication. Uh,
Okay.
Students,
Listen, among students, there might be some students who do not understand, for example, English language. Yes?
Mm.
Well, isn't it a kind of disadvantage of this project-based learning tasks? It requires much work from the teacher. Yes? Teacher should explain the task again and again. Yes? Isn't it a kind of a disadvantage? Or teacher should give a kind of extra tasks for the student who is weaker than others. Yes? Answer. Understand? Maybe it was okay.
What is the teacher's role in project-based tasks?
Teacher acts as a facilitator and consultant. And this in this project-based tasks, teacher plan this activity and then give instructions and uh, in this activity, teacher give doing with students work with together and in collaboration.
Thank you. Olumlu.
Second.
So the review was given by PhD Associate Professor Najima Bulaya, and she has mentioned that the actual thesis enhancing pedagogical discourse analysis through the implementation of project-based tasks is relevant, logically organized, and practically useful. It shows the author's understanding of pedagogical discourse, project-based learning, and English language teaching methodology. The thesis meets academic requirements and may be recommended for defense. And our next graduate, Nurdiana Saltanat Jackson-Baykızı, and the theme of your dissertation paper, approaches and strategies for translating English proverbs into Uzbek language. And your scientific advisor is Kojenyaza Umida from Magambet. Okay, committee members and here students. And now,
On this slide, I present the aims and the research task of our study. And the main aim of our research task is to analyze how English proverbs can be translated into meaningful and natural Uzbek
And for this purpose, comparative and descriptive approaches of user, they study comprise English and Uzbek proverbs from semantic, stylistic, and cultural perspectives. It also examines several main traditional strategies like using and equivalence, proverbs and adaptation, also explanation. In modern translation studies, the translation of proverbs is one of the important problems connected with language, literature, and communication. Proverbs are often sentences, but they are short, stable, and meaningful expression. That this contains the experience and wisdom, values, and the worldview of a nation. People use proverbs to give advice, encourage, explain a situation, express a general truth. For this reason, proverbs are widely used in everyday speech, literature, media, education, or public speaking and intercultural communication. The translation of proverbs from English and into Uzbek is especially important because English and Uzbek belong to different linguistic and cultural analysis, cultural system. English proverbs reflect the historical, social, and cultural experience of English-speaking people, while in Uzbek, proverbs are closely connected with Uzbek translation, family values, social relations, respect for elders, and word creation, morality, and everyday speech. Also, many English and Uzbek proverbs express similar human ideas. They often use different images and form. For example, the English proverbs don't count your chicken, count chicken before they hunt. And in Uzbek proverbs, Jojami Sudasanayla express a similar warning, but their wording and the cultural imagery aren't identical. The level of this topic is determined by the fact that proverbs often cannot be translated word for word, and a literal translation may be grammatically correct and correct, but it may sound unnatural. And for example, if the proverb um, if the proverb every cloud has a silver lining is translated only literally, and this figurative meaning may not fully understood in Uzbek readers. And there are in this in both Uzbek and the English proverbs has some features. These features help proverbs remain in memorable and make them effective in communication. One of the most common structure type is simple structure. It's express complete ideas in a short form. For example, time is money, knowledge is power. In Uzbek, vakt oltin, bilimkush. Such proverbs are usually easier to translate and easier to translate because they are short and contain a direct general ideas. And English and the Uzbek proverbs share several common translation structure, as I said, mentioned about. For example, simple proverbs such as look before you leap provide a direct advice, while conditional proverbs present a clear relationship between action and the result. Another important feature is contrast. Proverbs such as better late than never and the actions speak louder than words. So, giving their strength and emphasize of ideas. And the next is comparative structure are also common in both language and often have traditions by expressions. In addition, many proverbs are sound repetition. These elements make proverbs easier to
remembered. However, during translation, it is not always possible to preserve both the meaning and the stylistic beauty of original Hebrew. Overall, understanding the cultural and the semantic feature of the verbs help translators choose the most appropriate translation strategy. And in conclusion, Uzbek um, and as I said, mentioned above, the verbs is a short and wisdom will now you saying that this is a general choice. Thank you for your attention. Good.
What do you understand by translation? Please tell us. Translation, what is it?
Translation. Translation is translate some words from another language. Yeah.
What is translation? Translation is the expression of one word or notion in one language in another language.
How many translation strategies do you use? And what are they?
Main translation strategy, but there are five main translation strategies. For example, the first one is
Certain chapter. What strategies you use? Machine learning. Yes.
Supplement, thank you. And I have a kind of question. What kind of problem in the process of English progress did you try to analyze or needed to do in your research work?
the problems of the verbs. Their translation has been studied by many scholars, like the verbs are short, but this meaning widely used in translation, everyday speaking, and intercultural communication. The verbs translation. Translation. The verbs always cannot be translated from word for word. A literal translation may be grammatical correct, but it may sound unnatural or unclear, plenty of object leaders. For example, every word has a silver lining in translated only literally. In fact,
And of course, differences in cultural imagery, yeah?
So the review for indigenous Saltanat School of Teaching was given by Kalabayla Martina, PhD, Associate Professor. So the service approaches and strategies for translating English products into Uzbek language is concrete and relevant research work. It demonstrates the author's ability to analyze theoretical sources, classify linguistic material, compare English and Greek words, and make practical conclusions. So the work meets the requirements for a diploma paper and major recommended for the class. So our next graduation, Robespierre Bassayat Khanasset Badma, and the same of your qualification paper is effective pedagogical strategies for the development of communicative competence for English for specific focus learners. And your scientific advisor is Hajanias Uminda Kamagan, PhD.
Good morning, members of the commission and students. Today, I would like to present my diploma work entitled the effective pedagogical strategies developing for communicative competence in ASP learners. The actuality of this topic is connected with the growing importance of English in professional life. Nowadays, many ESP learners know grammar rules and vocabularies, but they still face difficulties to speaking fluently and communicating confidently. Therefore, it's very important to find effective teaching strategies that help learners in English that help learners to use English actively and successfully in real academic and professional situations. The main aim of our research is to find the most effective teaching strategies that help ESP learners improve their communicative competence. In other words, our study focuses on how teachers can help students speak fluently and express their ideas clearly, and to use English effectively in academic and professional life. The object of our research is the process through which ESP learners develop communicative competence. So we focus on how students gradually improve their speaking skills, interaction abilities, and confidence, and also communication in English during their learning process. The subject of our research includes teaching strategies, classroom activities, uh, and assessment methods that help ESP learners improve their communicative competence. Uh, we pay special attention to modern approaches such as task-based learning, problem-based learning, and role plays and discussions. This study uh, has both theoretical and practical significance. The theoretical significance of this study lies in clarifying the components of communicative competence and explaining their connection with learners, academic and professional life. The practical significance of the study is that the strategies, examples, and recommendations presented in this research. Uh, research can help with teachers organize their lessons organize the year, the lessons more